You know, filming a car review for YouTube is no easy feat. You have to work several hours to get the lighting right, to get the car cleaned up, to convince somebody to lend you the car, an interesting car by the way, to get the perfect setup so as not to have the sun in your face like I now have. And after all that, you have to edit the whole thing. It's little wonder that it has taken me more than 2 years to follow up on this rather difficult hobby, and an extravagant one at that. But sadly, I don't really have any more interesting material for you. What I do have, however, is a fleet update of my own cars. So you see, I have rather moved from the idea of reviewing cars and turning my energy towards fulfilling my my petrol head aspirations. But in order to develop on that idea, I need to do a quick fleet update, as is traditional with YouTubers, aspiring or successful as they may be. So without any further ado, here is my number one car in the fleet. Now I say number one because this is my daily driver. I base my whole experiences and chores on this rather old and tired looking Ford Focus. I mentioned a couple of years ago that this Ford has reached 100,000 kilometers. Right now it's sitting at 109,000 kilometers, which is not much in mileage, but I can assure you it has worked for them, for each and every one. What I mean by that is I have done the classic city miles with it, and well, as you know, this is a 1.6 liter TDCi 90 horsepower variant. Now there are some good things and some bad things. The good things are as follows: an impeccable chassis, well sorted suspension. In the steering department, it's sort of in the middle. It's the first electric steering from Ford, the first generation. That means that dead center, it's about numb, but it gets working with the chassis flawlessly once you put it through its paces. Bad stuff that has happened to it, of course, as with any other old car, there are some things. Mainly I've had issues with the ABS sensor, rather with an ABS error, because I tried replacing some sensors and well, they haven't really worked, so I'm left with this error on the dashboard. Other things, well, the famed engine malfunction issue, which has plagued Fords from this generation, particularly Focus models. And to me, it's not related to the engine or the EGR or however you want to catalog it. That's the most common ones, but it also affects the instrument cluster. And I've tried fixing it, but the local guy, the local shop that fixed it, did a sort of a bad job, and it comes on and off indefinitely. Mainly during heat waves, I would get this error once in a while, which is rather annoying. I have enjoyed driving this car for quite some time, but it's a bit lackluster, it's a bit agricultural, a bit crude inside, and really it's time for a change. This is no easy way, there's no easy way to say this. I'm quite attached emotionally to this car. I couldn't explain to you why. It's not an inheritance, and it's not a particularly valuable car, so I don't know, it's maybe the fact that it has rekindled my my hope that well, cars like this can be practical but fun also, and has given me hope that You know, as a petrol head, I might be able to someday afford something that's more enticing and more fun to drive and more well, more on the enthusiast side, hint mx5, but we'll get to that later on. So what I plan to do with this car, well, for now I'm not quite really sure, because I have another project going on which involves carrying a lot of stuff around, and this car is still handy at that. It's still an important part of my well, my fleet, if I'm permitted to say so. I carry stuff around with it, so it's very practical in that sense, and its low value point means that I don't have to worry about scratching it or damaging it, even though I do take care of it. So I guess this makes the first episode to the second season of the Eastern Bloc. By the way, I had another channel called the Eastern Bloc, which was an automotive themed channel, but given the lack of interest in that, I decided to switch it to a more general YouTube channel to cover more ground with my videos. So I'll be having three main content areas. There's automotive, this Eastern Bloc, which will be rarer but more focused towards the petrol head, the passion side of things, not necessarily practical or over-the-top reviews. Then there's Tech by Tech, which covers mostly weird and quirky obsolete tech stuff, but also some valid consumer advice in terms of electronics and gadgets. And then there's hobby content called Trek by Trek, which is a play on words on the previous Tech by Tech brand. And there I will cover my, well, my amateurish globetrotting adventures, city breaks, exotic vacations and the like. So I hope you like my content. Please give me feedback on what you would like to see or what you would like improved on my channel, and I guess I'll see you for the next one in my fleet update. Hint hint, mx5.